All right, to watch this video for Wednesday, October 17th. I am down to just a few days left of being a part-time trader. I should be back to full-time. Let me check my calendar here. Monday, the 22nd. I'll be back to full-time. And actually, if you can be around in the chat room, when the market closes Monday, and I'm not trying to make a big deal out of this, but so many people have been guessing what's kept me so busy and kept me a part-time trader over the past 3 weeks or however long it's been. That I've gotten so many guesses that I'm just going to, Monday after the close, Monday the 22nd, we're going to do an impromptu happy hour. And right at the closing bell, I'm just going to tell the story. It's a very short one. Again, I don't mean to build it up like somehow I'm important and what's been keeping me busy is important. It's not. It's not like I feel like that. It's just that there's been so many guesses. I thought it would be fun to just jump on right at the market close Monday the 22nd and tell my story. What's kept me so busy. So if you can be around that day, right at 4 o'clock, the closing bell, we're gonna have a chat about that. So we'll probably use Zoom as a platform. Anyway, should be fun. All right, so I only worked, I don't know, maybe the first hour today, and again, not even sure I'm working at all Friday. So we're looking at Wednesday and Thursday, the first couple hours. For me, the chat room will still be open. You guys will still be killing it. But as far as me, probably the first hour or two Wednesday and Thursday, and probably not at all Friday, and then back to finally, thank God, full-time trading on Monday. And in case you guys think I'm just living the good life and having fun while you guys are trading, this past few weeks, there's been nothing fun about it. All right, so I can't wait to get back to full-time trading. All right, so what am I watching for Wednesday? Showing you the SPY here first. SPY looked like, huge sell-off, right? Then looked like it was kind of bear flagging. If I take today's candle out of it, right, you've got higher lows but lower highs, closed at its lows yesterday. It really looked like it was getting ready to retest the recent lows, and then look at that. When a chart pattern doesn't play out the way it's setting up to, oftentimes the move is pretty darn powerful the other way. I think there's a trading setup they call the Hound of the Baskervilles setup. I read that in a trading book years and years ago. And it's basically kind of like a head and shoulders pattern that doesn't play out, right? Head and shoulders is a bearish pattern. If it doesn't play out, if the head and shoulders kind of triggers but then doesn't fall to where you think, a lot of times they can be explosive the other way. So, all right, anyway, a little Sherlock Holmes reference. So what I'm watching for tomorrow, QTT came public, I don't know, what is that, a month or so ago? September 14th, and today, yeah, about a month or so ago. Huge opening day, and then ended up ripping to new lows. But now, kind of had resistance right around this $8 mark, and it's trying to break above it, decent volume. So I think that maybe has put in a bottom, and it's certainly got great support between 7 and 8 from the past 3 weeks or so, and it looks pretty good to me for a potential long. NIO also came public about when QTT did, and popped up, I don't know, about a week ago to 835, and now it's kind of put in a higher low and a lower high, but I certainly like it if it can break the high of the last few days. Watching it trade, it's really had resistance, and I'll switch to 15-minute candles to show you. It's really had resistance around this 810, 820 area. You can see every time it's hit the 810 area to slap back down again this morning, and then broke it this afternoon, but then right back down again. So it's really encountering some resistance in that area. So, but I'm going to put it on watch tomorrow. SLS, I like this chart. You had a big volume spike back here that topped out 172, and then today topped out at 168. Certainly looks good over this base here. ALT, this is a weird chart, right? Monster move, then a gap down, sell off, then another gap down, then a few days sideways, and then a rip higher. So it's just a bizarre chart, but really nice volume today. And if I show you the intraday, this doesn't look like much of a day, right? This little bitty candle, but that's because it gets squashed because of this stupid move, right? from like $4 to almost 35. So it kind of compacts everything else. But when you go to intraday, you can see kind of how strong this was. Opened right around $4, ended up ripping through that and went all the way to almost 5, and then it's flagging ever since. So it is kind of impressive move. It was kind of an impressive move today, and certainly worth watching tomorrow. GTXI is kind of similar. Another weird chart. Huge gap down here, then had this spike attempt, but thwarted and right back down. But a little extra volume today, topping out at 209 before closing at 188. Let's look at the intraday on this one. Again, very strong move, right? Opened at 170, sold off a little bit, and then just ripped to 2, pulled back, and then ripped again, and held up pretty well. So you got a beaten up chart, and nice volume today, worth watching. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Riot. I haven't even looked at this one in forever, but Riot is a little bit interesting to me because it traded big volume 3 sessions ago, right? Topping out at 311, then put an inside day, and then it's right back up and topping out right around $3 today, $2.99 to be exact. Love this over 3. It might take out that 311 from the other day, and a lot of times when you get a big volume move in one day, and then you take out the highs of that big volume day, you get more upside. So I do like this setup, even though, you know, the daily chart is, how do I word it? Pretty damn ugly. But this volume might mean something here from a few days ago, and is holding up pretty well since then, all right? BLNK has had a monster move in the past. Back here, it moved from like $10 all the way to 34 over the course of a few weeks or something like that. Anyway, huge move back here. This one day was $1.83 to 470, and it's really just been declining ever since. But you gotta like the volume today and the strong close. So I definitely want to watch that one tomorrow. VTVT. This one was on Bounce Watch today, no trades in it. And then in after hours, all the way up, closing after hours at 432. So all the way up here. So a potential gap and squeeze tomorrow. We're certainly going to watch that for an opening gap play setup. T-Rove was pretty strong today, TROV, which topped out back here on big volume at $1.07. It actually broke that intraday, but only went up to $1.09. So I like it back through $1.09. You kind of have blue skies up into this gap area. Maybe blue skies isn't the right term, but up into this gap. So, but when I saw it break this $1.07, and I'll show you intraday, which it did right there. Look how quickly this got slapped back down. So I don't love it, but the daily chart doesn't look bad. JAGX, nice volume today and a pretty strong close. It went up to 60.59, so basically we'll round that up. Went up to about 61 cents on strong volume. Another weird chart though, had the huge move back here, then pulled back and then gapped down and went straight sideways. So I don't know, it's a weird chart, but I think because of the volume and it held up fairly well, I think it's worth watching tomorrow. I certainly don't love this chart. PYX goes back on Bounce Watch. Had it on Bounce Watch coming into today, and now it's back down into that what I call the buy zone between the 8 and the 20-day moving average. Nice potential bounce play tomorrow. And then lastly, CRMD also on Bounce Watch. Huge move, and now you got a couple red days. Pretty close. It tried to get into this buy zone, so I'm going to start watching that for a bounce as early as tomorrow, although I'd like to see it come down and maybe test the 20-day, but sometimes the stock is so strong, you'll notice it's lower volume on this pullback. Sometimes the stock is so strong that it doesn't come down and test the 20-day, and it turns right back up. So that's everything I'm going to watch. We'll add some gappers in the morning. So there's plenty to watch there. There's plenty to watch. If you're not a member, check the link below because we have, I'm only going to mention this probably one more week. We have lowered the barrier to entry to our chat room way down, so $79 gets you involved. We're seeing a lot of new faces and getting some really nice compliments. When people tell me, you know, wow, this isn't what I've seen in the other rooms, and it actually seems like you guys care and you actually explain the setups, things like that, that means a lot to me. It really does. And again, like I said in last night's video, I know what's out there. So it's kind of fun to watch people that maybe would have never tried our room try it on the $79 deal and then kind of get this kind of feedback. Makes me pretty proud. And again, we're kind of the antidote to some of the crap that's out there, because we actually are interested in your safety and teaching you to look for and learn setups and trade them accordingly. So I'll leave it at that. I'm done babbling. We'll see everybody on Wednesday morning. Have a good night.